Hello, this is Banana Jack Murphy, and welcome to Strange Discoveries, the show that dares to uncover the unknown and shines a light into the darkest corners of the paranormal. From eerie encounters to unsolved mysteries, join us as we explore the strange and unsettling, where the line between reality and the supernatural fades away. Are you ready to face the unknown? Ready or not, here we go with another edition of Strange Discoveries.
Deep in the shadowy pine barrens of New Jersey lurks a terrifying creature that has haunted local folklore for centuries. The Jersey Devil, as it's known, is said to have been born on a stormy night in 1735 to Mother Leeds, a woman who was carrying her 13th child. Legend tells that Mother Leeds, exhausted from raising 12 children, cursed her 13th pregnancy, declaring that this child would be the devil himself. When the baby was born, it appeared normal at first, but then transformed into a horrifying creature before the eyes of the midwives and family members. The beast emerged with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. It let out a blood-curdling screech before flying up the chimney and disappearing into the dark pine forests. Since that fateful night, the Jersey Devil has been spotted countless times throughout the Pine Barrens. Witnesses describe a flying creature standing over 7 feet tall, with piercing red eyes and razor-sharp claws. Its blood-curdling scream echoes through the dense forest, sending chills down the spines of those who hear it. Livestock have been found mutilated, strange tracks discovered in the snow, and mysterious shadows seen darting between the trees. To this day, the Jersey Devil continues to captivate the imagination of locals and visitors alike. The Pine Barrens, with their twisted trees and dark swamps, remain the perfect habitat for this legendary creature. Some say that on particularly dark nights, when the wind howls through the pines, you can still hear the devil's cry. A chilling reminder of that cursed 13th child born so many years ago.
Many Native American tribes across North America have passed down stories of giant, hairy beings who walk on 2 legs through their ancestral lands. The Lakota people speak of a towering creature they call Chie-Tanka, meaning Big Elder Brother, who is said to possess powerful spiritual qualities and serves as a reminder to live in harmony with nature. Among the Pacific Northwest tribes, where Bigfoot sightings are most commonly reported today, the creature holds special significance. The Lummi tell of a creature called Semekwes, while the Coast Salish people describe encounters with Sasquatch, from which the modern name derives. These beings are often portrayed as guardians of the forest, neither fully human nor fully animal. The Hopi people share tales of a race of giant ancestors who possessed extraordinary physical strength and wisdom. These beings were said to help construct their earliest pueblos, carrying massive stones that no ordinary human could lift. Similar stories emerge from the Cherokee, who speak of a race of giants called Kekla-Kudla, meaning hairy knees. In many tribal traditions, these creatures are not viewed as monsters to be feared, but rather as fellow inhabitants of the natural world, deserving of respect. Some tribes consider them to be spiritual beings who can vanish at will or shapeshift, explaining why physical evidence of their existence remains elusive. These traditional stories often emphasize the importance of maintaining a respectful distance and leaving offerings when venturing into their territory. The consistency of these stories across different tribes, separated by vast distances and distinct cultural traditions, has led some researchers to suggest that these legends may have originated from actual encounters with an unknown species. Whether real or mythical, these beings continue to play an important role in Native American cultural heritage, serving as powerful symbols of the mysterious and sacred nature of the wilderness. So, I heard something really interesting about this ghost. Alice Flagg. What's her story?
Oh, Alice Flagg is such a fascinating character. She was this young woman from South Carolina in the 19th century. Very tragic tale, you know?
Wait, I didn't know she was from South Carolina. What makes her story so tragic, exactly?
Well, she fell in love with a man her family didn't approve of, and they intended to marry in secrecy. But, she got really sick. Her family, they didn't want her to see him, so they sent her away to recover. It's heartbreaking.
Wow, that's so sad. So what happened next? Did she, die before she could see him again?
Exactly. Unfortunately, she passed away before they could be together. They say her ghost now haunts the area, especially around the graveyard,
Oh, really? Is that why she's so famous?
Yes, she's been spotted looking for her lost love. And she's actually become a symbol of lost love in the region. Totally captivating. People even say her spirit wanders at night looking for him.
That's kind of chilling. So do people still report seeing her nowadays?
Oh, definitely. There are tons of ghost stories surrounding her, and local tours even focus on her legend. People love it. It all just adds to the spooky vibe of the area,
The mystery of the Bristol Hum has puzzled residents for years. A low-frequency vibration, barely perceptible yet constantly present, has become an unwelcome companion in the lives of many Bristol locals. This isn't your typical noise disturbance. It manifests as a steady, throbbing sensation that some find utterly maddening. While Bristol remains the epicenter of this phenomenon, similar reports have emerged from other locations. The source remains a subject of intense speculation. Some point to the industrial activity at the Port of Bristol. Others blame traffic or high-voltage power lines. More imaginative theories suggest classified government operations might be responsible. Despite thorough scientific investigation using sophisticated monitoring equipment, a definitive explanation remains out of reach. The hum's varying intensity only adds to its mystifying nature. People report different experiences. Some only detect it indoors, while others claim it follows them everywhere they go. For those who can perceive it, the Bristol Hum is more than just an annoyance. It disrupts sleep patterns, triggers headaches, and can cause significant anxiety. This unexplained phenomenon continues to challenge scientists and impact local residents, making it an enduring mystery. Should you visit Bristol, take a moment to listen carefully. You might just become another witness to this peculiar acoustic enigma.
Don't go anywhere. Strange Discoveries with Banana Jack Murphy will be back in just a moment.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rate you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now.
Call 855-679-8173. That's 855-679-8173. Again, 855-679-8173.
We're taking a moment here on Strange Discoveries to bring some light to those that might consider our program to be a show celebrating darkness. We say, no way. Jesus Christ's mission was nothing short of a radical rescue operation, pulling people from the grip of darkness and the suffocating weight of sin. In a world where suffering, fear, and evil were all too common, he reached out to those caught in despair. He didn't shy away from embracing the broken, the outcasts, or the lost souls burdened by evil things, whether it was sickness, addiction, hatred, or shame. With compassion, he offered forgiveness, hope, and a way out of the darkness. By embracing humanity's deepest pain and offering the light of truth, he showed us that no matter how far we fall or how trapped we feel, his love is powerful enough to pull us back and give us new life. Consider this from the book of John, chapter 14, verses 1 through 6. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And where I go you know, and the way you know. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going, and how can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you're dealing with darkness in your life, we suggest acquiring a copy of the Holy Bible. Next, seek out a Bible-believing church. Embrace the gospel. The darkness will dissipate. Our prayer is that all that enjoy our show discover the power of a personal relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Edgar Allen Poe's inspiration for The Raven is often linked to a combination of personal experiences, literary influences, and his fascination with themes of loss, grief, and the supernatural. Poe himself stated that he wanted to create a poem that was both musically beautiful and deeply emotional. He famously said that the poem's structure, particularly the refrain "Nevermore," was chosen to evoke a sense of haunting inevitability, making the reader feel the despair and hopelessness the speaker experiences. Several elements likely influenced The Raven. For one, personal grief. Poe had experienced profound loss in his life, particularly the death of his beloved wife Virginia Clem in 1847. Just a few years before he wrote The Raven. The poem's central theme of mourning the loss of a loved one and the speaker's desperate questioning about life, death, and the afterlife mirrors Poe's own emotional state during this period. Then there's the supernatural. Poe was fascinated by the idea of the supernatural and the Gothic. The raven, a mysterious bird often associated with omens or death, is a symbol that has appeared in folklore for centuries. Its dark, mysterious nature fit perfectly with Poe's style of blending psychological torment with elements of the otherworldly. Literary influences. Poe was influenced by other works of Gothic and dark poetry. The Raven itself was likely inspired by the mythological birds of doom, such as the ancient Greek belief in the raven as a messenger. Poe was also familiar with the works of other Romantic poets like Samuel Taylor Coleridge, whose The Rime of the Ancient Mariner also explored themes of guilt, nature, and the supernatural. Then there's Poe's desire for artistic perfection. Poe's meticulous nature as a writer led him to carefully design the poem for maximum emotional impact. He constructed The Raven with a strict meter and rhyme scheme, using repetition to build a sense of growing dread and despair. The repetition of the word "nevermore" symbolizes the unrelenting nature of grief and the impossibility of escape from sorrow. So while it's difficult to pinpoint one single source, Poe's own personal tragedies, his interest in the macabre, and his commitment to creating a perfectly crafted poem all played significant roles in shaping The Raven.
The theory that the moon is made of metal, cheese, or even an alien spacecraft taps into the playful and imaginative side of human curiosity. These ideas are, of course, far from scientific fact, but they've captured the public's imagination in different ways over the years. The notion that the moon is made of cheese is likely the most famous and humorous of these theories. It comes from a long-standing folk tale originating in Europe, where people joked that the moon was a giant wheel of cheese. This playful idea is rooted in old stories and is often used to express the silliness of believing in something without evidence. While it's clearly not true, the concept has persisted in popular culture, from children's books to cartoons, as a fun metaphor for outlandish ideas. On the other hand, the idea that the moon could be made of metal is a more intriguing and somewhat eerie theory. Some conspiracy theorists have suggested that the moon is a hollow metallic object, either a relic from an ancient civilization or perhaps an artificial construct placed in orbit by extraterrestrials. This idea has no scientific backing, but it's a fascinating one, often associated with the hollow moon hypothesis, which suggests that the moon might resonate like a bell when struck, implying an unusual internal structure. Of course, modern lunar studies and missions have provided no evidence to support this theory, but it persists in science fiction and speculative discussions. Then there's the more outlandish theory that the moon could be an alien spacecraft, an artificial object built by extraterrestrial beings and placed in Earth's orbit to monitor our planet. This idea falls under the category of ancient astronaut theories, which argue that advanced alien civilizations have interacted with humanity throughout history. While this theory is purely speculative, it's captivating to some, especially when you consider the moon's seemingly perfect size and position relative to the Earth, which allows for total solar eclipses. Some proponents of this theory claim that such a coincidence is too improbable to be natural. Still, no evidence exists to support the idea that the moon is anything but a natural satellite formed from the remnants of a collision between Earth and a Mars-sized object billions of years ago. Ultimately, these theories, whether about the moon being made of cheese, metal, or being an alien spacecraft, are fun to entertain and illustrate the human tendency to wonder about the unknown. While science tells us that the moon is a natural, rocky body, the theories speak to our desire for mystery, creativity, and exploration. They remind us that even the most familiar objects, like the moon, can spark our imagination and leave us pondering the strange and the fantastical.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
All aboard!
There's a new way to travel, and it's one of the oldest forms of transportation. Travel by train. Yes, consider traveling around the United States on Amtrak. Traveling by train is a lot less of a headache than taking a plane, and you'd be surprised how many places you can go on an Amtrak. And there's no passports or IDs needed. Find out how to get where you're going as soon as tomorrow by train. Call the Amtrak Travel Hotline right now. We'll book your trip and email your tickets within minutes. Skip the drive to the airport and skip the lines. Call right now to book your Amtrak reservations. We service most of the United States. Do something new. Travel by Amtrak today. Find out how to get where you're going as soon as tomorrow by train. Call the Amtrak Travel Hotline right now.
Call 877-238-2680. That's 877-238-2680.
Welcome back to Strange Discoveries. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, written by Washington Irving in 1820, is one of the most famous works of American folklore. It tells the eerie tale of Ichabod Crane, a schoolteacher who encounters the ghostly figure of the Headless Horseman. While the story has the air of a historical legend, it's not based on a true event. Instead, Irving drew inspiration from the rich Dutch history of the area around Tarrytown, New York, and his own imagination. The idea of the Headless Horseman is rooted in folklore, with tales of ghostly riders appearing throughout European and American traditions. Irving added his own twist, blending elements of horror with humor to create a memorable and mysterious figure. The setting of Sleepy Hollow, a small, seemingly haunted village, adds to the otherworldly atmosphere, enhancing the story's eerie vibe. Though the characters and events aren't real, Irving's work taps into universal themes, fear of the unknown, superstition, and the tension between reality and myth. Over time, the story has become so embedded in American culture that it's often considered a true part of the nation's folklore. But ultimately, the legend of Sleepy Hollow is a product of Irving's creative genius, a masterful blend of fiction, history, and mystery.
Strange Discoveries continues with a poem from Henry Wadsworth Longfellow entitled Haunted Houses. All houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Through the open doors, the harmless phantoms on their errands glide, with feet that make no sound upon the floors. We meet them at the doorway, on the stair, along the passages they come and go. Impalpable impressions on the air, a sense of something moving to and fro. There are more guests at table than the hosts. Invited, the illuminated hall is thronged with quiet, inoffensive ghosts, as silent as the pictures on the wall. The stranger at my fireside cannot see the forms I see, nor hear the sounds I hear. He but perceives what is, while unto me all that has been is visible and clear. We have no title deeds to house or lands. Owners and occupants of earlier dates, from graves forgotten, stretch their dusty hands, and hold in mortmain still their old estates. The spirit world around this world of sense floats like an atmosphere, and everywhere wafts through these earthly mists and vapors dense. A vital breath of more ethereal air. Our little lives are kept in equipoise by opposite attractions and desires. The struggle of the instinct that enjoys, and the more noble instinct that aspires. These perturbations, this perpetual jar of earthly wants and aspirations high, come from the influence of an unseen star, an undiscovered planet in our sky. And as the moon from some dark gate of cloud throws o'er the sea a floating bridge of light, across whose trembling planks our fancies crowd into the realm of mystery and night. So from the world of spirits there descends a bridge of light, connecting it with this, o'er whose unsteady floor that sways and bends, wander our thoughts above the dark abyss.
Strange Discoveries continues with a simple question. Were witches mentioned in the Bible? The answer is yes.
The story of King Saul and the Witch of Endor, found in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 28, verses 3 through 25, is one of the most mysterious and eerie stories in the Bible. At this point, Saul, once a mighty king chosen by God, is in deep spiritual turmoil. He has fallen out of favor with God due to his disobedience, and now he faces the threat of the Philistine army. Feeling desperate and abandoned, Saul turns to a forbidden source for guidance: necromancy. Despite God's clear command against consulting mediums and spiritists, Saul disguises himself and seeks out a woman, the Witch of Endor, who has the power to summon the dead. Saul asks her to call up the spirit of Samuel, the prophet who had died years earlier. When Samuel's spirit is summoned, it's not a comforting encounter. Samuel rebukes Saul, telling him that God has rejected him and that his kingdom will fall into the hands of David. Samuel's spirit foretells Saul's death and the defeat of Israel in battle. This encounter is chilling not only because of the supernatural event but also because of what it reveals about Saul's tragic state. His disobedience has driven him to a place of utter desperation, where he is willing to break God's laws for a glimpse of hope. It's a moment that reflects the consequences of rejecting God's guidance and trying to control fate through dark means. In the end, Saul's story is one of downfall, marked by isolation, fear, and a futile attempt to control the uncontrollable. The Witch of Endor represents the boundary Saul crosses when he chooses the darkness over the light of divine guidance, sealing his tragic fate.
Did you know a security policeman claims to have seen Bigfoot while on patrol on April 18, 1974, at the former Myrtle Beach Air Force Base? This strange discovery comes from an official report filed on the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization's website. Here's the story.
At the time of the sighting, I was on duty as a security police officer in the U.S. Air Force at the Myrtle Beach Air Force Base. I was patrolling on a security road called the Serpentine at about 9 p.m. The temperature was pleasant at about 69 to 73 degrees. The Serpentine is in a restricted area zone within the base and lies in a heavily wooded area. There was a full moon that night, so I turned off my headlights to see if I could follow the road with just the moonlight. It was very bright, and this was easy to do once my eyes adjusted to the darkness. I remember driving around a curve when I decided to turn my headlights back on. Much to my surprise, I saw a creature in mid-stride, just as it was about to leap over a ditch by the roadside. It made the jump with ease and vanished into the tree line in about 3 seconds. The creature had light brown fur covering all of its body that was not long, but it was not short either. As I had been trained to report situations of any nature as correctly as possible, I believe that the following information is fairly correct. The creature stood about 7 to 8 feet tall and probably weighed about 400 to 450 pounds. For its size and obvious weight, it had remarkable agility and speed. The jump that it made cleared 14 to 16 feet with no problem. It had a body like a large human covered with hair. I called my flight chief and had him meet me out on the Serpentine Road, where I explained to him what I saw, as was my duty at the time. He said that he believed me, but thought it was in the best interest of my career to not put this report on the police blotter that night, and that I should simply forget about the incident altogether. Until now, I have done just that.
The origin of Myrtle Beach Air Force Base can be traced back to 1939. On November 8, 1943, the 5,000-acre base became Myrtle Beach Army Airfield, which would later be deactivated. But soon, the United States Air Force took over the base in June of 1954, and Myrtle Beach Air Force Base was activated on April Fool's Day in 1956. Throughout the years, the runway served both commercial and military interest. In fact, the runway at Myrtle Beach is so large it can accommodate the landing of the space shuttle. In 1991, after the National Defense Authorization Act, the announcement came that Myrtle Beach Air Force Base would close. 2 years later, on March 31st, 1993, that base would close forever. Nowadays, visitors to Myrtle Beach include a trip to the former Air Force Base as part of their vacation. There's a park with lots of vintage aircraft, and as part of redevelopment, a mixed-use shopping and dining complex known as Market Common was developed, and plenty of new subdivisions have popped up around the former Air Force Base. But we wonder just how many visitors and residents know that once upon a time, a mysterious creature, perhaps a Bigfoot, roamed this area.
Thanks for joining us on Strange Discoveries. If you'd like to learn more about our program and check out our archives of past shows, then visit strangediscoveries.com. Strange Discoveries is produced in the studios of the Bigfoot Radio Network and is copyrighted by Banana Jack Murphy Productions. All rights reserved. From the towering forests where Bigfoot may roam, to the skies where unidentified crafts defy all logic, this is the place where we unravel the unexplained, one strange discovery at a time.
Some things are strange, some things are stranger, and the strangest of things are here on Strange Discoveries.